New Zealand. In the 1980s, 53, New Zealand eased import restrictions and reduced import tariffs on cars. Consequently, large volumes of used cars from Japan appeared on the local market at a time when most cars in New Zealand were locally assembled and expensive, compared to other countries, with most used cars available being comparatively old. Citation needed. Local buyers now had a much wider choice of models, but despite specifications being higher than so-called NZ New Zealand new cars, there were many problems with clocking or odometer fraud, with the odometer wound back to display a much lower mileage. Other problems include vehicles damaged in accidents in Japan. 54. This is in contrast to those imported from Australia, for which the history of such vehicles, including write-offs, is readily available from insurance companies. 55. However, the widespread availability of used Japanese imports prompted official importers to reduce the price of brand new cars, and in 1998, New Zealand became one of the few countries in Oceania to remove all import tariffs on motor vehicles. 56. Can I import car from Japan to NZ? Used or new cars can be shipped from any port in Japan to all major ports in New Zealand. Grey market vehicles comprise a majority of cars in the national fleet. These second-hand imports have achieved normal status and are used and serviced without comment throughout society. A huge industry servicing and supplying parts for these vehicles has developed. After years of trying to stop grey imports, the car companies themselves have become involved, importing in competition with their own new models and providing owners with spare part and repair services. Russia and many African countries, albeit not South Africa, where second-hand car imports are illegal, import large quantities of second-hand vehicles from Japan and Singapore. Nevertheless, a great many used vehicles are imported, 94.6% of which come from Japan, most of which are Japanese makes. Most of the other makes are German, Korean, and some Chinese and Canadian cars such as Audi, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, Volkswagen, Kia, Ford, Canada and Australia, JAC, and Hyundai. 57. There are a smaller number of United States makes such as Chevrolet and Chrysler, which were built in right-hand drive for the Australian market. 58. Although in heavy decline from 2005, used vehicle import totals are higher than those of vehicles first registered in New Zealand. In 2006, 123,390 ex-overseas vehicles were registered, compared to 76,804 brand-new vehicles. Citation needed. Used vehicles must, with some exceptions, and need to be right-hand drive, and they must comply with recognized European, Australian, Russian, Chinese, Korean, Japanese, Canadian, Mexican, or American emission and safety standards, or they are ineligible to be imported into New Zealand. 59. 60. In some cases a left-hand drive vehicle can be imported into New Zealand if it meets certain conditions or is a specialized vehicle. Left-hand drive vehicles 20 years or older normally do not have to meet any special requirements but must weigh no more than 3,500 kilograms in New Zealand.